Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Mary Christensen, the Director of Product Marketing here at Billing Platform, and I'd like to thank you all for taking time out of your day to join us. With me today is Kyle Tierney. He's one of our principal solution consultants. Kyle has over 10 years of experience in the cloud monetization space, specializing in quote-to-cash processes, so perfect for the topic at hand. Thanks for being with us today, Kyle.
Happy to be here. Thanks, Mary.
So now on today's topic, subscription foundations, CPQ best practices. With subscription-based products and services becoming more prevalent in today's business environment, they are resulting in more complicated pricing models and multiple product and service configurations. And this might not be news to any of you, but Gartner says that the B2B buying experience is hard. In fact, they say the typical buying group for a complex B2B solution involves 6 to 10 decision makers, and each of those bring 4 or 5 requirements that they've gathered independently and must work through as a group. At the same time, the set of options and solutions is becoming far more complex with new technologies, products, suppliers, and as services emerge. These dynamics make it increasingly difficult for B2B companies to make purchases. In fact, more than 3/4 of the companies Gartner surveyed described their purchase as either very complex or difficult. So what is it that's causing this complexity? Well, for starters, it's the evolving market conditions we're experiencing. With people still working from home, it's accelerated the shift to digital transformation. It's also increased digital content. Selling one-time products is pretty easy, but when you have to account for recurring revenue models and the desire to charge by the amount of the service that's consumed, it gets complicated fast. Then there's the need to deploy solutions rapidly, which requires the ability for pricing and packaging flexibility. This is a must for those in competitive markets, and who isn't concerned about the competition these days? Then, as Gartner pointed out, more people are involved in the approval process, which is bound to slow down decision-making. There may be several ways to address these issues, but one is certainly with an integrated billing and CPQ solution. So what does CPQ solve? First, an integrated solution eliminates redundant administration. With integrated billing and CPQ, you can simplify the admin of your product catalog. That means when you set up products and pricing once, the data is available not only to the CPQ solution, but also to billing, invoicing, collections, revenue recognition, and all the way to customer self-service. And that leads to lower operational costs. Needing less staff to manage the system can make significant savings on resources. And we all want to get products and services out as fast as possible. And if you offer a wide range of highly customizable products and services, a CPQ solution can manage your complex product catalog and guide your sales reps through the selling and configuration process. And based on the pre-configured rules and constraint settings, the system automatically knows what products can be bundled together, how to price those components of the bundle appropriately, and what discounts can be applied. This speeds time to market. CPQ also solves errors when configuring products. If your sales team is managing quotes with manual processes, they'd likely run into product configuration errors when submitting the proposal to their manager for approval. A lot of companies still use spreadsheets to manage their large and diverse set of products and services, which only sets them up for failure without the ability for the checks and balances that an automated rules-based system can provide. And the final issue a CPQ solution solves is delays in receiving approvals. If your quotes are literally sitting in someone's inbox or on their desk, they can easily be missed. With a tool that automatically routes to the appropriate manager, managers have a single place to look for pending proposals and can review and approve them electronically. Then once approved, the system automatically sends the branded quote to the customer for approval. These issues are not insignificant and can easily be solved with an automated tool that manages products, pricing, proposals, all in a single solution. So with that, let me turn it over to Kyle, who's going to show you how CPQ works and can eliminate some of these issues. Kyle?
Great. Thanks, Mary. So let's set the stage for what we'll be covering today. In Billing Platform's Configure Price Quote module, we'll be demonstrating each of these areas listed here in order to showcase how CPQ can automate and streamline a complex sales process. We'll be covering everything from product and bundle setup to configurable rules and overrides to complex approval processes in order to get quotes out the door to your prospects and hopefully capture long-term customers. So let's go ahead and deep dive into Billing Platform CPQ. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here. So CPQ is accessed on the same singular metadata-driven platform where your customer's order revenue lifecycle takes place. It's easily extensible and can be framed directly into your CRM of choice for a seamless experience for your sales team. Today, we'll be demonstrating directly within Billing Platform, showcasing a unified experience between sales and finance. As quotes are configured, sales teams will take advantage of Billing Platform's agile product catalog in order to set up pricing to support any monetization strategy you come up with. We've covered pricing in another Elevate series. Email Mary for access to that recording. Then through CPQ, you can enable intelligent business rules, product dependencies, and approval routing to allow sales to activate orders for billing and payment quickly and effectively. So before we actually walk through creating a new quote, let's set the stage from a configuration standpoint. So here within quotes management, we'll hop into quote rules. What we can first do with the quote rules is we can assist sales operations teams to set up automated business logic to drive efficiency in the quoting process, as well as put up the appropriate guardrails so deals are configured in a way that is beneficial to the business. Here you can see a simple quote rule that automatically lowers the effective rate on cloud conferencing users if over 5 seats are added to a quote. Use any data point in the system in order to set up rules through a simple point and click interface. Next, let's configure a product relationship that will help the sales rep configure a product mix for the customer during the quote process without requiring them to mesmerize the product catalog and all the dependency and SKU mixes that might exist. See here for cloud conferencing. What we've set up here is a product relationship that we can automatically include or recommend cloud conferencing storage when cloud conferencing is selected during the quote process. So you can set up these product relationships in order to minimize any unnecessary change orders down the road where your sales reps can automatically include these. You can recommend, require, and or exclude products from these product relationships by setting up the relationship type that you see here. Lastly, there's a robust approval process and framework that is used behind the scenes that the whole platform operates on. That can be set up for different approval routing rules in the quoting process that needs to take place and push a quote to the finish line. We will see all these configurations as we go through the process. Let's go ahead and create a new quote for our customer 123 Consulting Solutions. So hopping into the new quote screen, let's start off by first configuring the account and contract term information. We will make this a 1-year contract. You can see here with the service start and end dates. And then we'll go ahead and configure the product mix for this quote and customer. So out of product here, we know that 123 Consulting Solutions is looking at our cloud conferencing bundle. So we first select that package, which is a pre-configured bundle that includes all the appropriate product components to implement the solution. When we expand the bundle, what we'll see here is all the usage and subscription components that are included as part of that bundle. Once we add this to our quote, we can see all those components being added to the quote itself. And then from here, what we can do is apply any sort of quantity updates, override rates, and apply discounts at a line item level. If a relationship already exists with a customer, whether they fall into a customer hierarchy or they have done business with us previously, we can easily inherit contract rates that have been set up. You can see here, if I click on the rate source here for cloud conferencing, that we have a price source of a contract that's been set up for the parent company, 123 Consulting, that gives them a lower effective rate on cloud conferencing users at $25. We can also set up contracted ramps on multi-year deals through pricing schedules. They can configure here by clicking on the P. So I can add in additional criteria for future years as part of the contract if we do have a multi-year arrangement that we've set up. And then lastly, what you'll see here through the product relationships that were set up previously that we've already covered, that if I look here at the cloud conferencing product, they've also included the recommended products that we might want to include into the quote itself. So based off of the quote that we're proposing here for 123 Consulting Solutions, we know through the product relationships that we've set up that it usually is recommended that we add cloud recording storage just to future-proof the contract so that we get those set up immediately and that we don't have to worry about that and process any change orders down the line. So we'll go ahead and click Cloud Recording Storage. We'll add that to our quote. And then the final piece is to show how those rules that we talked about earlier can be automatically set up so that when the sales rep's going through the process and adding in all the various different components of the quote, that those rules automatically take place without any sort of human intervention or approval process that needs to happen. So based off of adding 5 seats to the cloud conferencing item here, what you'll see is that it's automatically lowering that effective rate based off of the rule. So anything above 5 seats is going to get a discounted rate. And that's automatically being updated so that the sales rep doesn't need to worry about those discounts going into place moving forward. So at this point, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and submit this quote. And as I'm submitting that quote, what's happening behind the scenes is it's going through the approval process that we've set up in the configuration. So you'll see here that this is going to require approval before I can actually send it to the customer. You'll see that it's been processed through the quote manager approval process, and it needs to be routed to my manager, John Smith, in order to approve prior to me actually sending this out to the customer. So I'll go ahead and submit this for approval. This is being routed to John Smith behind the scenes. Actually, on my other screen, I'm just going to go ahead and approve that in another login so that you can see that being automatically updated in real time as I'm going through and approving it. So what this will enable is the management team to go ahead and approve and add any notes to the quote record here. So I'm just going to go ahead and type good to go and put my stamp of approval on it as John Smith, my manager. And in real time, that's getting updated and being routed back to the quote itself. So if I go ahead and refresh, what we'll see down here below is we have our approval history and we have the approved timestamp with the note good to go. So I can go ahead and send this out to the customer. So once we do have our manager's stamp of approval on this, what we can do is go ahead and generate a quote PDF that we can then send to the customer. We can route that directly from Billing Platform in an email format and include that quote PDF. We can also send this out through your e-signature platforms like DocuSign directly to the customer so you can get that electronic stamp of approval from the customer prior to activating billing. Once we do all the appropriate routing to the customer and get that signature, what we can do is easily activate billing automatically here within Billing Platform and go ahead and kick off that relationship with the customer and start to bill and collect on the customer record itself. So that's just a quick high-level overview of the quote module within Billing Platform. There's obviously other components as part of the application itself, but hopefully this gives you a high-level overview and some of the tools that you can help utilize and streamline your sales process. So Mary, I'll go ahead and hand it back to you to conclude.
Great, Kyle. Thank you for showing us the quote to cash solution and how easy it is to configure and set up. But for those of you who may not be familiar with Billing Platform, I wanted to spend just another minute and provide a quick overview of our solution. We help companies realize revenue for any product offering, from simple subscriptions to sophisticated usage-based pricing models and everything in between, with our industry-leading quote to cash platform. We provide full lifecycle support. That's from product setup and quoting, like Kyle just showed you, through billing and invoicing, payments and collections, and then all the way through to revenue recognition and reporting. That's done all on our cloud-based platform, and it automates those processes with a single solution. This unparalleled flexibility of our platform really puts enterprises in control of how they differentiate in the market, maximize profitability, reduce operational costs, and improve the customer experience. So with that, we've only scratched the surface on how the right CPQ solution can help to streamline the quote to cash process. But if you're interested in learning more, please contact us for a free consulting session. And with that, thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you, so please reach out. Thanks again, and we hope to see you at a future session.